Hello, today we're going to be looking at how you can use a tool called ToGo to help children to begin programming. We find ToGo by clicking the computing button from the front page, and then it's this little bee with arrows around it here. Now, spotting the bee on the screen can possibly give you a clue that this is going to be something a little bit like Beebots, and it is very much. The first stage we can do is we've got these arrows up here in the upper right where we can make the bee go up, we can make it go right, we can make it go down, and we can make it go left. Now these arrows are all relative to the child's eye, so if the child wants the bee to go up, they click the up arrow. If the child wants the bee to go left, they click the left arrow, and so on. So this is a very, very straightforward introduction to making something happen by clicking buttons to make the bee move around from the child's point of view. We can make it a little bit more advanced than that, so we can get progression within here. And to do that, I'm going to click this cog at the top here. So what I could do now is my next sort of stage of complexity is to click this selection here and say OK. And by clicking the rewind arrow here, we'll reset the screen. So what I could do now is say I'd like the bee to go up and to the right diagonally 1 square. So I click that arrow and then I click the 1 and the bee makes that move. And then I might want the bee to go up 1 square, so I click up 1 square like so. So it's still very much from the child's point of view that these moves and directions are made, but it's getting a little bit more complex. Okay, next stage of complexity. What we could do now is make a big jump, really, because in this one, the bee is going to turn, and this means that we've got to start thinking about things from the bee's point of view. So if you look at the arrows here, all I've got is a forward and a backward arrow and a turn left and a turn right arrow. So if I want the bee to go forward 2 squares, well, that's easy. I click on forward 2 squares. But if I want it to turn right now, I can't just say go right. I've got to say turn right once, and it will do 1 90-degree turn to the right, and then I can go forward 1. And if I want to come down the screen now, to come down here like this, I have to turn right again once and then go forward 2 times to come back down to that starting row. There's quite a shift here in terms of the point of view, and the child needs to decenter really and think about things from the bee's point of view and which way it's got to turn and move rather than from their point of view, which way they want it to move. So quite a big shift there in terms of the psychology going on. In terms of computing, we've got the ability to start programming, which is what this post is about. So programming comes by clicking the cog, clicking on general here, and then we flick this switch to allow programming and we say OK. And what we can do now is we've got these little extra kind of patterns at the bottom. So if I click on one of these, it gives me a set of empty instruction boxes, or I can have even more empty instruction boxes if I want to, or if I click that one, I can have a set of instructions that will go round and round in a loop. So what we could do here is if I wanted to go to the pink flower, I'd need to plan this out in advance by dragging in forward and 1 to go up 1 square. Then I want to turn 1 step to the left anti-clockwise. And then from there, I'm going to need to go forward 2 squares, aren't I? So I could do that and press play, and it would take me to the pink flower. Now what I've had to do there is I've had to plan my algorithm. I've had to work out the steps to complete the task before I actually carried it out. And that's very much how Beebots work, isn't it? You know, you want the children to be programming it and then sort of setting it off across your floor. So this is a lovely introduction that you can do on here, which can support the use of Beebots on the floor if you're using them, or it can certainly be used in its own right. Nice progressive steps towards programming. And I could keep this programming happening like that, but keep the simpler instructions on here. So still have it like so. Sorry, so I can still have it like this where I drag in a couple of ups and a couple of lefts, and then it would still work from the child's point of view there. I've gone off the screen, haven't I? Let's try that again. It's going to go up, up, left, because my arrow is going up, up, left. So a couple of different levels of complexity there. Your first level of complexity is in terms of the directions, and your second level of complexity is to allow programming and get children to think ahead about what it is they're doing. When I'm doing this with younger children, I always like to get them to actually draw arrows on a piece of paper to get the programming done on paper, really, before they even think about coming onto a screen. We don't want children to be improvising when they're coding so much. We want them to be planning in advance and then matching the code to their plan. So, nice introduction to programming for young children. Hope you found this useful. Thanks very much for watching.